Greetings, class. Once again, welcome to 3301, Theories of Human Behavior in the School of Social Work. My name is LaShawn Bold, and I am the instructor for this course. I'm a licensed master social worker, and I've been with UTA for about 14 years. Welcome to this online course. I hope that you have already watched the navigation video. This video I'm going to come to you and talk to you about is about the syllabus. So I want to make sure that everybody understands the syllabus. So here we go, and right now we're in Start Here, and then of course I showed you before where to go to announcements. If you haven't done the Start Here video, you need to go to the Start Here video first. Okay, we're going to review the syllabus, and before I start, I want to say sometimes the syllabus needs to change. I'm recording this right now in around July, late July, and sometimes there are changes that need to be made throughout the semester. Typically, the major assignments will stay as is, but due dates or different things change. We also add some extra credit. So expect that from time to time you'll get an updated syllabus, so you'll want to look back here, and usually if I make any changes I will put it on announcements, and I've already explained to you that announcements is where I will usually put anything, and it'll be connected to your mind map. So check your announcements regularly so you can see if there are any changes. This is the syllabus area, and it talks about the weekly checklist, and here are the 12 rules for online discussion. And those are things about being respectful and, not using foul language, and just be familiar with that so you can know what's expected there. Also, here is the discussion board rubric. When you do a discussion board, there is a way that we tabulate how many points you receive for that discussion board. So if you want maximum points, you'll want to be familiar with that area there. And then there's other information here about using Purdue OWL. You just click there and it comes up. And then also what the course text is. And this is the text for this particular course this semester. If anything may change between now and the first day of class, which is August the 22nd, you will be informed about that before you start class. Okay, I'm going to click on the syllabus here. You can see where I clicked on that. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, your first page of your syllabus introduces the course to us as Fall 2018. Be sure you're in the right course. There are two courses that do human behavior. One is 3301 and one is 2302, which used to be 3302. So if you have any questions about that, you feel free to email me, but make sure on MyMav that you are in the right place. Okay, this is one of two courses. This is the first of two courses. However, you may be taking these at the same time. You may be taking 3301 and 2302 at the same time. They're both human behavior courses, but this course deals specifically with theories of human behavior and sort of a background of why we do what we do and why we care about human behavior and social work, and some of the other things that go into discussing the actual practicalities of the lifespan, which is the other course. You'll notice here that this has my contact information. Email always works best. So if you email me, I usually have a notification on my phone about the emails. And so I will get back to you within 24 hours generally, or 48. But I will usually let you know when you can expect to hear from me within 24 hours. Also, here is an interesting point I want to show you, is that you can look up all of your professors on Mentis and see what their background is, what they normally teach, what other courses they've taught, what their syllabus looks like. And so there's a good information there. You do need a laptop computer with wireless capability for this course, and this course is all taught on Blackboard. Here's a description of the course, and I've talked a little bit about this is the first of two required courses. This one talks about and this should be actually on the other syllabus too, but this one actually goes into more of, rather than the lifespan, this one goes into the theories about the lifespan. So it's the precursor to the lifespan. So here's some of the objectives that you'll learn in this particular course. We do discuss all of the different avenues of social work, such as ethical principles, diversity, and this is a critical thinking course, so you'll be asked to think a little outside of the box. You may be used to reading course textbooks and just reading and taking a test, taking a test, but this is a different kind of class that actually asks you to be introspective and think a little bit about your own life experiences as they relate to the course materials. So when you're talking about your life experiences, you're going to want to make sure that you're referring to the course materials and the course text and being able to use correct citation in those discussions and that type of thing. And there's some instructions in the rest of the course to help you get through that. I want to mention too that these educational policies are provided to us and required by the Council of Social Work Education. We have an accredited program here in the School of Social Work at UTA, and so we expect students to learn from what the Accreditation Council expects, and that's what these educational policies are. So these are the things that you agree to participate in and learn when you're participating in this class, and that means that you need to follow the guidelines in the syllabus as well as follow the assignments, and you need to agree to complete the assignments. In this class, students are required to complete all of the assignments in order to receive a passing grade. So you must attempt all of the assignments in order to complete the course, and that's important. Some students think, well, I don't have to do this or I don't have to do that. No, in this class, you need to do all of the assignments. That's very important. And if you get stuck in that way, please email me so that we can talk a little bit more about whatever the situation is that you need. I do like to be accessible to students and to help them work through this course successfully. And that's really what we're about at UTA. We want you to be successful. So we set these things up for a learning experience where you can actually end the course knowing what you might need to know. In this case, social work. And I realize there'll be some others of you from other disciplines, and that's great. We welcome you to these courses, and we will be focusing primarily on a social work perspective. But there is much to be learned here about things that will benefit you in all of the courses, and sometimes even including in your regular career. So wherever you're at with that, welcome. A couple of other recommendations that I have. You will need to have access to the Code of Ethics, and you'll need to be sure that you look at any other articles that are recommended. We ask that you understand or know where to find the American Psychological Association manual. That's the APA manual. We use APA, not MLA. So be sure you are becoming more familiar with APA and you understand that you're required to use APA in the writing. So that's important. And I'll point out a couple of other avenues for support in that way also. Okay, here's some descriptions of the major assignments. You have a diversity ethics paper that is due, and you will need to do that on your own. That is not a group assignment. You will need to complete the diversity ethics paper on your own. Be sure that you look here on the syllabus for the details as well as Blackboard. And I believe I've shown you where to find posting those things on Blackboard. But I'm going to go ahead and click back real quick and just show you here on Blackboard. It says post the diversity ethics paper here, post the case study paper here, so that you'll know where those things are. Okay, I'm going to click back to our syllabus, And also here is a link to the Code of Ethics. Oh, it's not found there. I need to change that, don't I? I do have the correct link in the assignment area. So in case I miss correcting that, you can Google the NASW Code of Ethics. Excuse me. Ooh, I'm sorry about that. Excuse me very much. Okay, so here's some more instructions about the case study. Case studies are listed at the front of the text immediately following the detailed context. So students should review chapters 1 and 2 before choosing a case study. Again, read for detail and follow these instructions very, very closely. There's a lot of instructions here about the Code of Ethics and the ethics paper and the case study. And it tells you it's some very specific instructions, including a rubric there. Also, here's instructions on discussion boards and what is required there. You have discussion boards are worth 15% of your final average. And so keep in mind that all of the assignments here are weighted. So you may get a 100 on the assignment, but it doesn't mean you can go back and add up all the assignments and divide by so many and get your average. There is a student average posted in Blackboard, and you will need to look at that regularly to make sure you know where you stand in this course. If you miss assignments that were due and have specific due dates, then you will receive a 0 for that assignment, and that will be included in your weighted average. And some of them are weighted higher than others. So, for example, the discussion boards are 15%, but the case study might be more. So, important to keep up with that. This has very specific instructions on discussion boards and how to navigate your expectation for that. And we have a rubric there for discussion boards as well. Let me note that some of these charts and graphs and things like that are a little bit crooked. My apologies for that. There is a formatting issue sometimes with the syllabus template, and it doesn't match. So forgive me for that, but it is intended to look exactly the same. There are a couple of other places where the same material is posted where it's not crooked. So if I am able to fix that before the semester begins, I will do that. If not, if you have any questions, please let me know. You also have a case study. The case study, you have a choice, okay? And I've written the choice in the groups section of this syllabus. But you may do this as an individual or a group. Some students find it more helpful to work in a group. If you work in a group, there are some very specific instructions that you need to follow where each member has a piece of the assignment, and you will provide initials or something where the area is that individual has completed, because we want to make sure that everybody gets credit where credit is due. Here's another rubric for that assignment. Here's also a suggested format. If you are in a group, we'll discuss that in just a minute. Okay. Quizzes are worth 100 points each, but they're 10% of the total average. There are 10 short quizzes administered. From time to time, I'll have an additional quiz or an additional discussion board that actually is extra credit. I will also offer other extra credit throughout the semester. So that's another reason you want to check those announcements and other places to make sure you're keeping up with the extra credit. There are 2 exams in this course. You have the quizzes and then you have 2 exams. The quizzes stay open all semester. So I do that so that you can have a chance to take them twice. You get 2 opportunities to take the quizzes. And the reason for that is, if you do not do well on a quiz, I want you to go back and read the course text for the answer to the quiz and figure that out, and then come back and retake the quiz for an improved grade. And hopefully that will be an incentive for students to go back and read the course text. So some wonder, why do you get 2 chances? Well, that's why. You get 2 because I want you to go back and locate the answer. And for understanding, I feel like you can really understand it better if you're reading the course text. Exam 1, then exam 2, there are 2 of those there, both worth 15%. Here's some information about group work and that you have to complete your work on your own, but also you can do this in groups, but it is up to the students to work out the group responsibilities. So if you want to have a group leader, you have to choose your group leader. You also, you must be present in the paper at least one theory or perspective and develop the actual concepts that apply with that theory. So I've given you a chance to have no more than 3 people in a group, and I stick with that because that's about reasonable for this particular assignment. So if you ask me to do 4, sometimes I can be flexible and sometimes I'll tell you no. So you can ask, you never know, but I would prefer that everyone stick with what is written on the syllabus unless you see the syllabus changed or you hear otherwise. This talks about taking attendance and that it's your responsibility. There are no makeup discussion boards. Discussion boards are due at the end of every week. So while the quizzes stay open all semester, the discussion boards do not. And the reason for that is I want you to have as close to a discussion about the relevant issues of the week as opposed to waiting and coming back and checking it at a different time. And you need to be involved in the discussion during that time period when it's due. If not, it will close, and then you will get a 0 for that, and those zeros will add up quickly. So catch up, be sure you're catching up with everything, and start on time at the beginning of the semester and reading, and you should do very well. Okay, here's the grading for this. Now, it does say that there will be total points received, and an average would be 100%. Do not look at points necessarily when you're looking at Grade Center. It's really best to look at your average because they are weighted. And so if you're going along and you haven't done Exam 1 or Exam 2 yet, but you've done the diversity paper, it's going to look a little bit different than when you complete that Exam 1. It's going to move the points around a bit. If you decide not to do something, definitely going to have an effect on your overall average. So be sure you understand what that is. Here's some more information about late assignments, and it says, please read the following rules applying to late assignments. Now, let's move into the course schedule. Each week begins on a Tuesday and ends on a Monday. And the reason for that is so that you can have the weekend and some time on Monday to respond. So it's usually a good idea to complete your discussion board, your first post on Friday, say, allow everyone to look at it, and then be able to talk about it over the weekend, and then respond by Monday evening. I find that schedule really works very well for students. So that's how we do it is in this particular class. You may have it different in other classes, but that's what's expected in this class is that the week begins on a Tuesday, and most of your assignments are going to be due on Monday. I may say first post due on Friday, additional post responses due on Monday, but that's what we're expecting there. Okay, so I want to point out too that your first day of class on the calendar, a UTA calendar, is August the 22nd, and you can go ahead and start this course as soon as it opens on August the 22nd. But really, you won't have anything necessarily due until September the 3rd, so that'll give you the full first week. So that gives students a chance to get adjusted, get us in there, and you can have a chance to read all of the introductions and watch the videos and get really started off strong, okay, because we want you to finish strong. Okay, so here are some of the things that are due. Again, here's another little mishap there with the crookedness. And I apologize again for that. It's just kind of what happens when it gets reformatted in the template area. Okay, if you have any questions, if you'll notice all of the areas here have the due dates. From time to time, there's a glitch or an incorrect date. And if you see something like that, please let me know. If there's a glitch where a video won't open or something happens where you can't open an assignment, let me know as soon as possible so that I can either explain why it's not open or assist you in that. And if sometimes I need to let the entire class know that needs to happen. So really keep up with the due dates and what the syllabus looks like. And the syllabus should be directly correlated to the course modules on Blackboard. So you shouldn't have too much of an issue with there being discrepancies there, other than a crooked line there. Okay. Trying to think. Okay. The end of our, and you'll notice this semester we have a Thanksgiving holiday. I usually expect students to, use that time for working on their case study or catching up, or you can go ahead and move forward. And moving forward is okay. It's just sometimes students get overwhelmed when they try to move too fast, or they need to back up and reread the text or follow the instructions a little bit closer. So I would recommend that you not get too far ahead in this class and that you really pace yourself from week to week. Here's some other information about student support services and how to deal with grade grievances. We also have a counseling program at UTA that I want to point out here. Sometimes students feel overwhelmed. Sometimes they need somebody to talk to, or they're having personal issues or problems at home, or whatever it is. I want to encourage you to write these resources down, put the hotline numbers and things like that in your cell phone, so that if those issues come up for you, that you have a resource to contact quickly for yourself. The CAPS program, the Counseling and Psychological Services program here at UTA, is a really great program that you have access to, and I want to encourage you to do that. Here's information about the library as well, but I want to point out one other thing. I'm going to click over now back onto the internet, and I'm going to pull up UTA, School of Social Work was SSW, and I'm going to click there, and I just want to show you a tool that's available for you there. Current students, if you haven't been to this particular web page, please go. And we will, and you can look there if you have any questions about that. But I wanted to point out, too, this writing resources. This is Dr. Chris Kilgore right there, and he is a wealth of knowledge about writing. Many times your professors will ask you to meet with Dr. Kilgore. He has virtual office hours. He has in-person office hours. He has the ability to overview students' papers. Now, he doesn't edit papers or anything like that or check for spelling and that type of thing. But what he does is he can look at the assignment and see if you are on track with that assignment. And so sometimes I'll refer you to him and I'll say, I need you to have Dr. Kilgore look at this and resubmit this assignment. Sometimes you may not get a perfect grade on an assignment, or maybe not even a passing grade. And I say, you know what? Go visit with Dr. Kilgore, send me a redo, and repost the assignment, and then I'll look at it again. So remember, this is a learning process. Okay, I'm going back to the syllabus. Remember that part of the learning process is not always being able to do it perfectly. So it is okay to make mistakes, but be willing to accept that feedback and make the corrections where needed. In addition, here is the drop policy, and this talks about accommodations. If you have an accommodation letter, if you can go ahead and send that to me over email. I mentioned here the counseling and psychological services again, and we have some policies here at UTA that are expected to be followed. So if you have anything that you need to discuss there, let me know. We have an academic integrity honor code. Know what that is. Know what's expected of you as a student. This talks also about electronic communication. Campus Carry. At the end of the course, I'll ask you to complete a student's feedback survey, and I'll be asking for your input, constructive feedback, if you will, as well regarding this course. And then there's also a time for you, there's some information here about finals week and what's expected there. So I'm going to go back to the beginning here, and that's where I'm going to end this on the syllabus. I'm going to go back to this page over here where we were with syllabus, and I just want to, I'm going to go back to start here. I just want to welcome you to the course and say I'm glad you're here. If you need anything, please email me, and I look forward to working with you on this course and navigating your learning process with you, and I hope you have a great semester.